Alright, so manje ake sibheke i-wave equation. So i-wave equation le ifana nani? English ifane njengaleya equation le ethi i-wave speed is equal to the distance traveled divided by the time. I'm sure uyakhumbula le ethi V is equal to the distance traveled all over time. Yabo? But let's just say the distance traveled is i-wavelength manje. Yabo? Which means one wave. Which means the speed to travel one wavelength divided by ukuthi, which is in a period. Yabo? Which means the equation is lambda over t. But remember, uthi ulingana no 1 all over f. Combine the formula le. Remember, uthi is the period, lambda is the wavelength, f is the frequency. But again, let's define them again because whenever we are dealing with this into before ubale, try to define for yourself. Because I'm sichaza sikombe yini ungabe usubala phela into ongayazi. Okay, so wavelength, it is the distance between two consecutive crest or consecutive troughs. Okusho ukuthi ubude obusuka kwama crest la phezulu, suka kwi crest yokuqala uye kuleyo sibili, or mhlawumbe yos4 uye kwes5. They have to be consecutive, alandelane abe adjacent. Yabo? Or the distance between two adjacent points that are in phase, which means in phase conducting, which means loma points they will reach any rest position ngesikhathi esifanayo. Alright, so njengoba lambda over t, lambda sesichazile i-wavelength angithi uthi it is the period. That's yini i-period? It is the time taken for two consecutive crests to pass a fixed point. Okusho ukuthi ngezulu iqonda ukuthi le period esikhuluma ngayo ilesikhathi lesi abasikalayo ukuze kudlule ama crest amabili kulelo point, which means ukuze adlule lama crest omabili athatha isikhathi esingakanani ukuthi adlule ipoint elithize, i-period leyo. Okay, and then we have i-frequency. I-frequency sichaza ukuthi it is the number of waves or pulses passing through a fixed point per second. Okusho ukuthi mangaka ama wave or mangaka ama pulses azodlula kuleli point elinganyakazi ngesecond elilodwa, i-frequency leyo. Siyazi ukuthi i-period is inversely proportional to any i-frequency, which is why sithi uT ulingana no 1 all over f. Okay, so sesebenzisa i-math ke manje. Nayo lento seyiprove lapho. Ngifuna ubuke la ukuthi uT ulingana no 1 over f, angithi nangu uT sinayo. So which means la khona uT sesofaka u1 over f, which means i-answer yethu manje la sekuzoba lambda divided by, uthi ngibhale nje ngokubovu, la kade khona uT sesofaka u1 over f, which means la kukhona u1 all over f. Yabo? But ke lambda divided by 1 over f, lo division somenza multiplication. Somenza multiplication lo division times f over 1. Ngala kukhona bani? Lambda. Yabo? So the new formula manje it's f lambda, which means v is equals to f lambda. Na i-formula entsha ke sizoyisebenzisa. So ama formula sasebenzisile ukuze sithole lawo omabili. Lama formula omabili uma siwacombine ngemetha asinikeza le formula yodwa. Iyona wave equation ke le. Let's see, the speed of the wave is equals to the frequency of the wave multiplied by the wavelength of the wave. Yabo? Okay, so frequency yona, it is measured in hertz or Hz. Yabo? Then dilingana no s on a -1, but sisebenzisa lo hayi lo. And then period ama seconds just to s. Yabo? And then we have wavelength ama meters just to m. Yabo? Iningi esinayo ngala. Oh, that's just it. Yabo? Oh, and then v ama meter per second, which is meter per second. one ama-units lawa esizowasebenzisa for le wave equation. So whenever they ask you to get the speed of the wave and you have a frequency in a wavelength, multiply frequency in a wavelength, the answer yakho ezoyithola lapho is your wave speed. Ungakhohlwa lokho, wave speed. So wena manje into osuzoyenza na i-formula, le formula lesinayo lethi v is equal to f lambda, iyona osuzoyisebenzisa kanye nalethi v is equal to distance traveled divided by the time. Ungayikhohlwa phela le ukuthi usunale akusho ukuthi ngeke isasebenza. So ngakho ke ibhale phansi ngesandla sakho le formula le, ngobani kulama examples alandelayo sizobe siyisebenzisa, and ngeke uzutshele ukuthi isebenzisa le noma le, uzobona ngalezi zinto abakunikeze zona ukuthi yona efanele ukuthi uyisebenzise ezokunikeza lokho abakubuzayo. Asambe soyibheka. Alright, so now we'll practice problem number 1. When a particular string is vibrated at a frequency of 10 Hertz. Okay, ngithe mina kwena every time sifunda waqhamuka igama kuzomela silidefine every time. This is how you practice. Ungasethi isikhathi uthi ngifuna ukupractice ama definitions no. Uhlezi nje uhlangana nawo uma upractice usenza ama calculations. Lokho kuqonda ukuthini every time uhlangana nawo if uzowa define, which means uwenza izinto ezimbili ngesikhathi esisodwa, because kuyenzeka bangakucela ukuthi define njengala, but wena uzobe udefineile ukuthi mhla kubuzwa uyobe read. So when a particular string is vibrated at a frequency of 10 Hertz, i-frequency le yini frequency? Kade sichaza ukuthi frequency, it is the number of waves or pulses passing through a fixed point per second. Ngifuna iphinde now ulebele uyisho ulebele uyisho. Okay, so given information is, so given number 1 esekunikeziwe, we have f ukuthi u10 Hertz. A transverse wave of wavelength 0.25 meters is produced. A transverse wave, i-wave enjani kuthiwa i-transverse? Why becacisa? Ngoba siyazi ukuthi kukhona enye esibiza ngani? Esibiza ngani? Nge-longitudinal wave. So le transverse wave, i-wave enjani? It is a wave whereby the particles of the medium move perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the wave. I-definition yayo leyo ini i-transverse wave. Okusho ukuthi i-transverse wave i-wave whereby ama-particles e-medium ezihamba i-wave kuyona leyo medium, mhlasimba amanzi, leyo ma-particles ayo leyo medium, they will move up and down perpendicular while yona iya forward or backward, which means it travels perpendicular to the direction of motion at right angles. And then we have a wavelength of 0.25 meters, which means the wavelength is 0.25 meters. The wavelength it is the distance between two consecutive crests or two consecutive troughs. Your definition there. Okay, so we have the wavelength of 0.25 is produced. So if lana ilintambo le stringless, uma beyivibrate kancane kukhona i-transverse wave eyenzakalayo. Lo transverse wave has a frequency of 10 Hertz and a wavelength of 0.25 meters. Determine the speed of the wave as it travels along the strings. 3 marks. La usebenzisa ini wave equation. Why? We have f, we have lambda. Uyazi ukuthi equation ade siyibhala manje ithi v is equals to f lambda. Yabo? Njengoba v is equal to f lambda, every time they want the speed and you are given a frequency in a wavelength, you multiply that one. Isho njalo formula. Kumbona? U3 marks nje lo olula, i-formula, substitution ni answer. 3 marks okay also. So v is equals to f wethu kuba nangu sinikeze u0.25. And then lambda is f u10 siyaphambanisa yabo. F u10 lambda u0.25. F is your Alright, F is your frequency, 10. Lambda is your wavelength, 0.25. So 10 multiplied by 0.25. I'm sure umunye was we told the answer without a calculator. As you know, every time we multiply with 10, in number we buy njengoba injalo le lo. But kube yini i-comma elizomova ka-right kanye futhi means lizosuka ngalo lithi i-answer kube 2.5. But to verify wena into yenzayo uthatha i-calculator yakho and you check ukuthi iflashiwe yini na i-calculator yakho, which means the only thing ekumele ivele la phezulu kwi-calculator yakho is ud no maths. Once kwakhona m obala lamanye amalo khunjana akhona la, you have to do something about it. Remember? So 10 multiplied by 0.25 gives you 2.5, and in there is speed, meter per second. You're on a speed of the wave, and then lapho your 3 marks usutholile ngokugcwele. Yabo? Was look define a frequency, what define a transverse wave, what define a wavelength way before you even started. Yabo? So man, so you have the speed of the wave we calculate high. It is the speed of a transverse wave. We have seen a transverse wave where defined, which has a frequency of 10 Hz. You have 10 Hz, which means get second elodwa kudlula ama waves out 10. Which is why it's at 10 Hz. So now you have all the meanings. You understand this balo. We understand the statement. It makes it easy with the correct units. So 3 marks comes from formula, correct substitution, correct answer with the correct units. Uthole 3 marks unjalo apho, yaba? Say number 2. Okay, so la sinombuzo la othe ukuba trick. Tricky ngokuthi akukho lula uku-understand a statement, but uma usu-understand the statement ukuthi sithini kuba lula uphendula. For 5 marks, uthiwa a cock on the surface of a swimming pool bobs up and down once every second on some ripples. Which means la kukhona i-cock i-object ephezulu kwayo le pool ihle intanda phezulu kwamanzi, but kunama ripples aqhamukayo, which means la manzi lawo awamile, which means awekho still mhlawumbe khona ababhukudayo or mhlawumbe kune-filtration or whatever, but amanzi ayanyakaza, kunama ripples ezayo, kunama pulses adlula kule cock. The time edlula lo ma pulses ayenza ukuthi inyakaza i-up and down kanye ngesecond, yabo? Remember, so uma edlula ama pulses adlula le cock ibambe kanye every second, which means leyo yini i-frequency, which means given it frequency is equal to 1 Hz. Frequency abasinika yona leyo njengoba kuthiwa it bobs up and down once every second. Yakhumbula the number of waves passing through a point per second. So manje siyazi ukuthi igquma up and down u1 lo ngesecond elilodwa, iphinde it up down u2, up down u3, up down u4, kanjalo kanjalo. The ripples have a wavelength every time, so it define a wavelength, the distance between 2 consecutive crests or consecutive troughs of 20 centimeters, which means the wavelength you 20 centimeters. So if the cock is 2 meters from the edge of the pool, how long does it take? How long does it take a ripple passing the cock to reach the edge? Which means kule pool le cock which is the object on top of the pool is 2 meters away from the edge ekhoneni, which means it distance ezomele ayihambe you 2 meters, which means ud is equal to 2 meters kahle kahle. Sifuna bani thina uthi, yaba yonke sifuna lana ke we will have a combination of ama formula. Siyazi thina ukuthi according to the triangle ikhumbula le v is equal to distance over time. T is mesimvala T kusala D over V. So T is equals to D all over V. Yaba? But V siyamazi to V uba. Remember phela V is equal to F lambda according to any wave equation. So now T is equal to distance divided by F lambda. Now a formula end. So mind you get T is equal to distance 2 meters. Correct units, isn't it? Frequency 1 hertz. Correct. Wavelength 20 centimeters. So centimeter to meter ngakutshela you divide by 100. So kuzoba 20 all over 100. Bese sifaka yonke ke lento we calculate. So T is equals calculator, we have 2 divided by 1 times 20 over 100. Nope, over 100. 10. So T is equal to 10 seconds. So it will take 10 seconds. Kahle kahle. Well, 5 marks lo. We'll tell about complicated kancane. Mainly because siyawa combine manje lama formula omabili esibalweni esisodwa. Okusho ukuthi omunye ubengaqale abale athi V is equal to F lambda. Lo F lo afake u1, u-lambda afake u20 all over 100. And then lapho kuzomnikeza ubalo 20 over 100 so 0.2 bani meters per second. Yabo? Mesenza njani? Asebenzise le equation le. Bese suka la aze kule. Enze njani? Athi 2 divided by 0.2. Still naye uzothola u10. Yabo? Enye indlela leyo endeke. But the easiest way ile esiyenzile which is to ukwacombine omabili ama formula. Siyazi ukuthi time or the period is equal to the distance traveled divided by the speed of the wave. Okusho ukuthi i-distance uma unayo ne-speed uma unaso uzokwazi ukuthola isikhathi. But sinayo i-distance asinaso i-speed. Yabo? Kanti i-speed siyisodwa according to the wave equation. Siyazi ukuthi it is equal to the frequency multiplied by the wavelength, which is what we have, vele frequency ne-wavelength. Sahlanganisa into one formula, i-answer iphumela nje fast. No? 5 marks wakho lapho uthola uphelele. So, lo mbuzo lo take it down more ukuthi awunawo ubhale phansi without any lama answers lawo, and then you try ukuzenzela wena ngokwakho again and see ukuthi lo 10 seconds uzowuthola yini. Senilandela. Alright. So now umbuzo la ukuthi as the period of a wave increases, the frequency increases or decreases or does not change. Give a reason for your answer. So bathi lana i-period uma inyuka kwenzakalani i-frequency? Iyanyuka nayo noma iyehla noma isale njalo. So let's give our definitions again. We have a period, we have a frequency. To answer this question, kumele wazi yini period, yini frequency, and what is the relationship, yini ubudlelwane between i-period and the frequency. Okay, so i-period uma sichaza, it is the time taken. Okay, what's the answer? So asithi nayo iwave nje ithize. So isikhathi sokuthi leli point leli la naleli point leli la, two consecutive crests to pass a fixed point. Mhlambe singasho ukuthi ukhona i-point mhlambe elila esothi A. Leli point leli bazodlula ku-A since emotion angithi iza ngala, which means leli point lizodlula la nalo ophinde adlule la. Yabo? So leso sikhathi esithathayo ukuthi kudlule ama crest awu2 alandelanayo is your period. And i-frequency, it is the number of pulses or ama waves that will pass a fixed point ngesecond elilodwa. Lokho qonda ukuthi mangaki ke manje ama pulses noma ama wave azodlula leli point ngesecond elilodwa manje. Yabo? Kanti eqaleni besibala ukuthi kuthatha isikhathi esingakanani ukuthi kudlula u2. Manje sesibala ukuthi mangaki azodlula ngelilodwa isecond. Yabo? And ubudlelwane between i-frequency ne-period, it is inversely proportional. Inverse proportionality sichaza sithini? When two quantities, la aloma quantities, we have any period, we have any frequency. So loma quantities omabili, if one increases, the other will decrease because they are inversely proportional. Okusho ukuthi kwanyuka yedwa lo munye uzokwehla. Oh, kwehla yedwa lo munye uzonyuka. Yabo? They're inversely proportional. So bayatshela la ukuthi the period will increase. If oyedwa increase, which means lo munye uzoyenza njani? Uzo decrease, which means your answer for number 3, answer yakho uzobhala ukuthi decrease. Imaka elilodwa. Why? Because remember, why suyasho wena ukuthi i-period is inversely proportional to i-frequency. Ngoba khumbula phela ukuthi f is equal to 1 all over t, or t is equal to 1 all over f. Bama opposite, ba inversely proportional. Unyuka koyedwa kwehla komunye. Yabo? So mase i-period ya increase, kusho ukuthi i-frequency iya decrease. Iqonde nje lo. So this is how you answer umbuzo okanje for 3 marks. So wena ngicela ukuthi every time uzodeal nama waves, don't expect umbuzo thize or ungalindeli ukuthi bazokubuza i-definitions ethi cha. Be ready for konke. As you can see, buka nje nombuzo nje lo okanje. Ayikho esibalayo la, siyachaza for 3 marks. Yabo? For not even 1 mark, 3 marks. So kubalekile ukuthi we understand yona le physics le, ama waves, sound and light, ukuze uzokwazi uphendula. Kubalula ukubala uma usu understand. Angiphasisa ukuthi ufunde unga understand mase uyahamba uyofunda ucalculate, yabo? Akusiza ucalculate into ongayazi. Yabo? So let's work on that ukuthi ama definitions ethi so understanding ngale ndlela ukuthi we are able to describe ukwenzakalani ngendlela ye-maths nje ubona sikwazi ukubona ukuthi i-frequency ne-period is inversely proportional. Lo sikuthatha from the mathematical equation esitshelayo ukuthi i-frequency is 1 all over the period, or i-period is 1 all over i-frequency. When one factor increases, nale enye izo decrease. Yabo? Asidluleleni phambili. Alright, so still manje nama longitudinal waves. Ama waves akanjani ke ama longitudinal waves? So ama longitudinal waves siwachaza the same way as chaza ama transverse wave. Remember, the transverse wave what's it here? It is a wave where the particles of the medium move perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the wave. Kanti kwama longitudinal, it is a wave there where the particles of the medium move parallel to the direction of propagation of the wave. Which means ama particles enyakaza, why enyakaza? They are gaining energy as the wave idlula ngithi. So uma enyakaza, they move parallel to a direction. Yabo? Which means if a wave iyaka right, nama particles azo vibrate either right or left, but parallel to your low direction. Akwazi ukuthi oyedwa amove left or right and then ilonto njana ithi up or down. So engizama ukusho la, we are looking at two motions, the motion of the wave and the motion of the particles. If the motion of the wave and the motion of the particles is moving opposite, so kusho ukuthi oyedwa uhamba ku x, which means ukuthi left or right, let's just say mhlambe i-wave le, and the particles are moving perpendicular up or down, therefore a transverse wave le. But for any longitudinal wave, the motion of the wave is to the left or to the right, therefore the particles will also move to the left or to the right. They'll never go up or down, they'll never be at right angles, they'll never be perpendicular. So igama lesi perpendicular mhlambe kwamanye ama textbooks bangalisebenzisa basebenzisa ukuthi it is at right angles, at 90 degrees, orthogonally, amagama aqonde uperpendicular. Wonke lawo uyazi uperpendicular kukhuluma ngani? When two sides meet at an angle of 90 degrees. Bayichaza kanjalo ngithi ka maths. So the same concept here, sikhuluma ngama motion of the wave and the motion of the particles. If the motion of the wave is horizontal and the motion of the particles injani vertical, that is a transverse wave. Kodwa if the motion of the wave is horizontal and the motion of the particles is also horizontal, so it's parallel lapha, it becomes a longitudinal wave. How we draw a longitudinal wave is different from any layer to sit by transverse. The transverse wave inama crest, inama troughs, the maximum displacement above the rest position. Okay. Now so amplitude. We will be looking at something called reflections, compressions. And that is how we will draw any longitudinal wave. Kunento esiyibiza ngeslinky. Islinky into esisebenzisa ka physics efana njenge spring but esithambe kakhulu. Uma uyidedela nje lento esandleni iyayiyela ivuleke ibe yinde kanje inwebe. So uma uyidela mhlambe ingahamba kanje. Yabo bayidweba kanje in longitudinal wave. So as you can see, kunento ehlukile. La mawubuka la kusondelene, but la uthe uqaqana. Yabo? Yile nto sobe sesichaza ngayo ke manje ama compressions nama reflections okuyizinto esibona ngazo ukuthi we are dealing with a longitudinal wave. Asambe sokhuluma ngayo. Alright, so now we're going to we have a compressions, a rarefaction. The compression, it is a region which means indawo. Iloso skala lesileyo area kwi longitudinal wave. Longitudinal wave sesiyazi, it is a wave where the particles of the medium move parallel to the direction of propagation of the wave. Khumbule lo. Okay. Where the particles are closest together, which means ama compression ila ama particles alo wave esondele alo medium njalo asondelene kakhulu, yabo. So which means as the wave idlula kule medium le, ama particles azonyakaza ngithi kule part la enyakaza khona esondelene, which means isikhala between la mover khona sincane yini ama compression. La isikhala khona sisikhulu la eqaqene khona kakhulu ama reflection, which means compression, it is a region in a longitudinal wave where the particles are closest together la esondelene khona. Kanti reflection is a region in a longitudinal wave where the particles are furthest apart la ekude khona kakhulu. Sidweba kanjani ke lento? How do we represent this with longitudinal wave? Okay, we will draw ama reflection with the blue, which means laba aba furthest apart, which means the particles are furthest apart njenga kwi gas, yabo. Sizowadweba kanje, and then ama compression sizowadweba ngo red. So izoqala ngani nge compression longitudinal wave la ama particles enjani closest together, yabo. So it represents njenge slink. And then kube yini ama reflection. Ama reflection ukhumbule yona ukuthi anani ane space esiningi in between. Okay, and then kuphinde kuzobuya mani ama compression. Na ama compression akho singaphinde futhi si-add amanye ama reflection. Okay, so you want a compression now a reflection that make up any longitudinal wave, which means the part in le is your this is your reflection. Reflection, you're going a compression. So this part is your reflection. and then le la encane ebomvu is your compression. I'm sure uzokwazi ukurecognize the difference between the two. Yabo? And kuzomele ukwazi ukwenza njani ukuchaza lezi zinto zombili. Kulula kakhulu ukuchaza. Kufana njenge-transverse ne-longitudinal. Definition iyafana ukuthi ngala uparallel ngala ubani uperpendicular. The same concept ke nala. I-definition iyafana. It's either egcineni uthi closest apart noma uthi furthest apart. Kusondelene noma kuqaqene. Kusondelene noma kuqaqene. Closest together or furthest apart. Compression, reflection. Yabo? When it's just to practice to identify ukuthi le i-compression, le i-reflection. So this is a type of any longitudinal wave. So you could take down my notes lower on my definitions of compression and reflection, and then in other words you could also take any reflection and compression on a diagram. If you have different colored pens, right cool, because every time also phone we book a lento, it makes sense to you. Uyibhale ngokhala owodwa ofanayo, yabo. Remember mouse uyidweba, make sure une space la kunala, make sure, because kumele kube visible ukuthi this is a compression, this is a reflection, ukuze nomuntu okumakelayo mekuthiwa kade udweba la kuzoba lula phela ukuthi understand into yakho awodwa mamakhe. Because sometimes when ungayibona lento ofuna ukuyidweba mase uyidweba vele kufane konke, yabo. Remember you're using one colored pen kwi-exam. Awusebenzisi ko blue, or yellow no green kwi-exam. It's either blue or black pen. Awazi ukusebenzisa abanye okhala. So I'm sure you've taken down lama notes, which so manje kuzomela upractice ukwa-define. So every time sihlangabezana naleli gama leli, we'll define. Press pause, we'll define. Mesihlangana naleli, you press pause, we'll define. Aswakhohliwe kade siwenza futhi for frequency. Or ama wave, transverse wave, ama pulse, ama medium, or superposition. Konke nje lokho asikhohliwe. Every time sikubona siyakudefine. Every time sikubona siyakudefine. This is our practice ukuthi sikwazi phela ukuchaza for yonke le mbuzo le, not just to calculate it, because in physics understanding comes first and then ama calculations ayalandela. Mawuzojaha ama calculations ngeke ukwazi ukwenza uma unga understand ukuthi yini le ngabo ibala. Yabo? So asiqhubekeni manje sephambili, but remember every time uhlangana nalamagama omabili uzowadefine aqala before ubale or uphendule umbuzo. Mengithi wadefine ngisho ithi bhala phansi washo wena, because izobe isiza wena lonto ngoba kwi-exam bangakubuza, yabo. Uma sebekubuza kumele ukwazi ukwenza njani uthola u2 marks wayo i-definition unjani. Asidluleni phambili. Alright, so esikhulume nge-wavelength le oyaziyo, but manje sizoyi-relate with i-longitudinal wave. We've been describing it ukuthi the distance between two consecutive crests or two consecutive troughs. Okay, so manje kuthiwani i-wavelength is the distance between two consecutive points that are in phase. Yabo? On a longitudinal wave, what does that mean? She means the wavelength. Remember, la yinle. This is the region whereby the particles of the medium are closest together, which means la yini a compression, which means the region whereby the particles of the medium are furthest apart. La eqaqene khona kuba yini ama reflections. Okay, so which means la ama compressions i-reflection. Compression, reflection, compression, reflection. And la iqala khona ama compression ubude kusuka lapho kuze kuyoqala enye lo bude lobo basibiza ngani nge-wavelength. Or la qala khona ini i-reflection uzuziyoqala enye elandelayo ubude bokusuka kulowo ma point omabili is your wavelength. Okusho ukuthi omunye ngabuthi shuthi nala ngize la i-wavelength qinisile ngoba la kuyaqala this point and that point are in phase, yabo, which means they reach the equilibrium position or the rest position at the same time, yabo. Alright, so la angichazi into ongakaze uyizwe before i-wavelength kade sichaza, ama-points are in phase kade siwachaza, but manje the only different asinawo ama-crest, asinawo ama-troughs. What we have is ama-compressions nama-refractions, which means ubude bokusuka kwi-compression yokuqala uze uyofika kwi-compression yosibili la iqala khona, hayi la iphela khona futhi cha. Mawusuke la iqaleni kwayo wazi wayiqaleni kwayo kwalelandelayo alandelanayo a-consecutive or a-adjacent, iwona ama-points owabukayo ukuze ukwazi ukuthola i-wavelength yakho measured in money, in meters, which means if you are given in centimeters, you just have to convert kuphela, ayikho into enzima, divide ngo-hundreds kuphela, yabo. So manje we'll be looking at i-period ne-frequency uma siyi-relate nani ne-longitudinal wave, because iqaleni si-describe kahle kamnandi, but lapho besikhuluma ngani ne-transverse wave. But don't remember, a relationship between the period and frequency does not change. They will still be inversely proportional. Into inversely proportional kade sichaza ukuthi njani iyama opposite, ngokunyuka koyedwa ukwehla komunye. Okusho ukuthi uma ngasithiwa siyayidweba, uma uyi-period le enyukayo, which means i-frequency iyehla, yabo. I-inversely proportional kanjalo. Inverse, igama ethi inverse liqonda opposite, yabo. Igama omunye mhlambe angasho ukuthi indirect, okusho ukuthi ifana nawo inverse, ifana nawo opposite, iyaphikisana ngokunyuka koyedwa ukwehla komunye. Yonke kumele ungayikhohle leyo ekade siyifundile kwama-transverse wave, ungayilahli leyo knowledge uma sesifika la kwama-longitudinal wave. Asihambe soyibheka ke manje i-period nayo leyo frequency.